For the better part of 3 decades, we've been in the business where we're taking data and we're looking at it from a lot of different perspectives. The data always was used to answer certain questions. There were certain industry standard questions, and we used the data and the information that we got from our clients and their systems and the market and the weather forecasting, etc. And we did our best to answer questions in ways that would help them. Going back probably 3-4 years ago, one of our largest client, the CEO of a public company, is a friend of mine, taught me to look at things a little bit differently. I mean, he actually expressed very strongly to me one day, he said, you have to ask things differently. You can't just really, I think his words were, question everything. And from questioning everything, I sort of embraced it, and we brought it into the company as questioning everything. So some of the basic questions that have been asked for years and years and assumed to be true, both questions and metrics, we started wondering if they were indeed the right metric. When we looked at metrics, we said that, is the metric just for the information purpose, or can you do something with it? And more importantly, if you have a metric that you can't change, not why bother having it, but what's it going to do to you, and what's your goal? Then was Christmas of 17. And as we all remember, Christmas of 17, there was a 3-4 week period of time where it was bitter cold, nonstop. When we have heating oil and propane companies, and the managers of those companies are actually saying, it's January and I wish it would warm up a little bit just so I can catch up, then you know it's really, really cold. So we're seeing this going on, and it's freezing cold, and as can happen when it gets really cold, there are some customers who run out of fuel, and it just happens. One of our product lines is we sell remote monitors, and we measure what's in a tank. And what we are seeing is fairly regularly, some customers got deliveries when they didn't really even need a delivery. Some customers ran out, which was a bit of a surprise. Going back to this notion of question everything, we were in the middle of looking at data, and we did even a deeper dive into the data. And what we realized is that not only were there certain customers who didn't need to get a delivery who did get one, and others who needed a delivery didn't get one, which is, again, that's back to monitoring. But we started looking at it, and we're seeing something we had frankly never looked at, which was the breakdown of K-factors. I mean, K-factors really simply are how many heating degree days there are to consume a gallon. And the houses with higher K-factors burn fuel more slowly. Houses with lower K-factors burn fuel more quickly. Everybody knows that. Every back office accommodates for that. Every system accommodates for it. We know that when you're burning fuel, if you have a low K-factor, you're going to go through fuel a lot more quickly than someone that has a higher K-factor, and we plan and project accordingly. However, as we're looking at it, before we even got to the notion of ADEPT, as we're looking at it, we realized that there were a lot of high K-factors, customers who burn fuel more slowly, that got deliveries in January. At the same time, some lower K-factors were running out. Didn't make much sense, but that was the data. And then we did our dive into the K-factors, and we found something that was pretty interesting to us. There's a very good breakdown on the case. I mean, pretty much, if you want to be generic, a third of customers have a high K, a third have an average K, let's say a 5 or a 5.5, and a third have a low K. So armed with some new information about high Ks, the runouts that we had, and this question everything in the back of my mind, I asked a different question, or we asked a different question, which was, why is there ever a delivery to a high K-factor customer in January? The answer is because we set our reserves based upon the tank. We don't base it upon consumption. So really that's where it came from. It was just looking at data, looking at processing, looking at Ks, and we came back and we said there's got to be a better way to do it. We don't know what the better way is. We just know that there's a better way. We have to make sure that the delivery is appropriate to the customer and the customer's tank, armed with the information that we have. The K-factor of 4 and the K-factor of 12 with the same tank level, they don't have the same urgency level. So number one was we wanted to make sure that we structured it so that we're right-sizing the delivery. The goal is to make our clients more money. We start with this notion of we're going to make you more money. How are we going to make you more money? We're going to lower your expenses. The number one cost that a company has is the cost of their fleet of vehicles. they're delivering fuel and they have these trucks. They have 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 or 500. They have a lot of trucks. Those trucks cost a lot of money. Not only do you have to buy the truck, you have to maintain it, you have to insure it, you have to inspect it. There are a lot of things that you have to do. There's a lot of safety. If you could flatten out a little bit of that peak, you flatten the curve a little bit, you can get rid of those costs for the entire year. We want to redefine the word optimize. I wanted to define optimal as how can it help you make the most amount of money? And in our mind, we were saying that the optimal delivery is not a delivery, it's a set of deliveries. It's a year full of deliveries. Over the course of the year, how do you spend as little money as possible making your deliveries, not helping you on price, we're not helping you get more customers. You're going to deliver your finite number of gallons to your finite number of customers. How can you do that at the lowest cost possible without really increasing your likelihood of run out? Just imagine if we can solve for that.